we couldn't rescue you. I've come back in this lifetime now here because we are worried about your spiritual growth. And I'm showing you these things to help push you and up to another level in your spiritual growth. And this all just, I was completely blown away. I'd never been beamed up before. I'd never been on a Pleiadian ship like that before. It was like a newer class of beam ship. And I had certainly never had anyone enter my mind telepathically and show me all my past lifetimes, like a record. And then I was just dumbfounded and looking at Rates, and the next thing I know, I'm just sitting on the front porch, and there's that white silvery light, like being in a swimming pool, and it's receding, and I see it go up to the ship, and then the ship moving. A beautiful whitish sphere. It just moved away for a while, real slow, and then just winked out. It just winked out, disappeared. And I was totally freaked out. And by this time, my wife was sleeping in the cabin, and she came out. And she goes, "Who's here?" She thought someone had driven one of their four-wheel drive trucks up, and the lights through the window, and I didn't want to front load her with anything. And I said, "Well, what do you feel? What do you see?" She goes, "Well, I saw a light woke me up. Did somebody drive up here? Who's here?" And I said, "What do you feel here?" And she walked around. She said, "I felt energy. I feel heat. Something's weird's happening. What happened?" So I told her the story. And so after this actual physical contact, and I didn't have a camera with me, and I don't have proof. I don't expect anybody to believe me. Just follow your heart. But this did in fact occur, and it's all real. And so now, you fast forward a few years later, it's now 2015. Ratesh has started channeling to me, and their Pleiadians are wanting to give information to Earth people to help with their spiritual growth and help with their spiritual development. We have all these channels, we haven't got them out yet, and we're getting them out. But we have a lot of information that the Pleiadians want to get to Earth. They want to bypass the filters of the governments and the shadow governments. Because the U.S. government's one of the worst liars on the world, the Russians and all that. The New World Order elite planners want to control us all. They want to hide the free energy and all the technology and the very existence of the ETs themselves. So that's why we're doing this now, is to help, is to spread the light. And so that's, my basic contact story with her. And then a year or two ago, I was sitting in the house and I was listening to Coast AM with George Norrie. It was about 2 a.m. And he had a guest, Michael Horn, who is a Pleiadian, working with, he's not a Pleiadian, but he works with Billy Meyer over in the Billy Meyer case in Schmid-Rudi, Switzerland. And they were all talking about ETs and all that stuff. And Ratesh contacted me telepathically. She said, "Call into the show and tell them our story." And I said, "You can't get on Coast to Coast. I mean, you can't call in. There's a jillion people." And she said, "No, put your hand on the phone and wait, and I'll tell you when to call." So I had my hand on the phone, and she said, "Okay, now." And so I hit the dial button, the redial, and on the second ring, they picked it up and answered, and I said, "I'm a Pleiadian contact team. I'm here to tell my story." They put me right on the air, and I told George and Michael the story. I left out the part, there wasn't time, so I left out the part about all the lifetimes and the spiritual side of the contact. And so I also told them that the Pleiadians had told me, Ratesh, that they're not going to let us destroy the planet with nuclear weapons. That's why they monitor them. And they're behind shutting down a lot of our nuclear weapons. You read the stuff in Robert Hastings with all his excellent work about documenting the nuclear bases and the things that have happened. And he lives here close to us in Crestone, Colorado. And so that's basically, what I told them. And the Pleiadians are here to help us. They're here to help us raise our spiritual vibrations spiritually. And so these channelings and this information is designed to do that. It's also designed to activate certain starseeds and people that are here that may not know what they are. And at the Star Lodge Healing Center, we do a lot of work on ET contactees, abductees, and things like that. So that's just my basic story with Ratesh, and that's why she's the source of these channels. We have a very good telepathic link up now, and we were husband and wife. And I started having a lot more memories after this. I was beamed up, and she showed me those things. More is like a cascade of all these past life memories and things. And I remember being on Eros on our home planet, the Pleiades, and so forth. So all we're doing now is trying to do this and do the light. So any of you guys out there, the Starseeds Lightworkers, who are afraid to tell your story, for years I kept my mouth shut. I mean, who's going to believe me? I don't have any pictures. I don't have any proof. You know, here's some nut guy with long hair out talking all this stuff. But it doesn't change the fact it's true. I mean, I love my mother, but I can't prove it to you. But it doesn't change the fact that it's true. And so you people that have seen things, and you didn't have your video camera, you didn't have any witnesses, but you saw things in the night sky, you saw, it's time to let all this out. And step over your fear of being ridiculed, you know, because people will attack you and ridicule you and tell you you're crazy and everything. But the Star Lodge here is dedicated to the truth of extraterrestrials. We know they're real. We've talked to them face to face. Also, I've seen grays, actual grays in my house. My wife was a gray abductee. Her mother was a gray abductee, and her grandmother was a gray abductee. And, you know, they've woken up with little marks, the triangular marks, the bruises, all kinds of things. The grays have actually been in my house. And I was woken up with a telepathic thing the same way. I felt them. And I had a silenced MAC-10 machine gun with me. I used to be a Class 3 dealer here in Colorado, machine gun dealer. And at any rate, I walked out the door with that thing, and they came out of my wife's room, and I turned around, and I was just fixing to fire on them. And they just kind of faded out. They didn't pop out. It was an interdimensional portal. You could see them just get translucent, and then they disappeared, and I could smell them, and they smelled like rotten fish. I told the story to Robert Hastings, too. The grays, they smell physically when you see them. And so all this stuff's real, and I've seen it. And so that's my basic contact story, you know, here. And this is the source of these channels. And then my other is Aria, my guardian angel Aria, who we channel telepathically. And so any of you guys out there, we got Cody's contact page and a contact thing where you can come tell your stories. Because we went out to the Contact in the Desert, you know, the ET thing, 2015, Joshua Tree, California. And there was a lot of great speakers there. And, you know, but they were like kind of just talking down to everyone. Like, you know, all the guys that I was talking to out in the audience, different people, because we worked there, we were working for them there. They were all, you had all these contact stories like I'm telling you, and they wanted to get them out. There was no forum for that. And we all need to step forward now, and we all need to stand up for the light and stand up for the truth and speak your truth. Don't be afraid. And if people ridicule you, smile at them and send them love and go on. It's time for the truth to come out. And all you people that have been quiet, let it out now. Let it all come out. Speak your truth. Walk your truth. Be the light. Without fear. Because a lot of these star brothers are here to help us. Some of them are evil and they're here to hurt us. But that's basically my contact story. And we hope that you'll contact us at the Star Lodge Healing Center and tell us your story on the page. And so, thank you very much. Love you guys.